All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Parks Committee for June 23rd, 2023. Present today are Councilman Schramm and Councilman Frank. Appointed officials, Public Works Director Troy Kruger, City Attorney Paul Jensen, Finance Officer Chandra Phillips, and our Parks and Cemetery Supervisor Marty Peterson. Good morning, everyone. This time, I will turn the floor over to either Troy or Marty to start the meeting.
Well, I guess we surplused the scoreboard up at Leahy Bowl. I guess my question is does it have to go through second reading, or
No.
because they voted unanimously on it, we can
Done.
we can do that anytime we get a moment?
Talked with Tyler Oberbrockling, the representative of Getty's, last night. When it fits your schedule, Marty, and you've got a gap in there, they've got a trailer that they want to bring over. I talked to him about what you said, Brad, about U-bolts and maybe loosening the U-bolt, sliding it down, and then just dropping it onto the trailer, or cutting off the beams, whatever the method will be. He is going to work around your schedule. They'd like to get it as soon as possible, and they think they would have a trailer available with 3 days' notice to come get it and take it back to Getty's.
Let's shoot for the next couple weeks.
Might be a good time while we have the kids here yet.
Yeah.
I have to go up there and take another look at it. I looked at it really closely about a year ago when we were talking about this, and we did disconnect the electrical from it. That's all done. But how are we gonna get it down, and how many pieces we wanna put it in, or if we could just, I don't know, those two I-beams that are up there, they're big heavy-duty buggers. I know, Brad, you mentioned at council the other night, maybe we wanna leave those up, because it could be in advertising or another place to put something else for the ball field.
Totally up to you, yeah.
I'm just bringing it up for discussion. I don't know whether we want to keep them or remove them. I know if we remove them, we'll cut them off at they're concreted in,
Yeah,
and I don't know what's,
serious stuff.
yeah.
Yep.
So it'd
If
be-
you try to cut them off at the concrete, then I think you'll be okay, but if you leave a nub or anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like 2 feet up or something, that's
The
just gonna be.
concrete's out of the ground too, so
The concrete what?
concrete's up above the surface of the ground too, so
Yeah,
that'd be tough to mow around.
I
It'd
agree
be
with you, yeah.
ugly.
If you left them up there, people aren't gonna run into them, but if you cut them off,
Yeah,
then they're gonna be a hazard, you're gonna have to dig them out, I
yeah,
think.
then we'd have to remove them
Yeah,
totally.
otherwise leave the pipes, and nobody will run into them
But
then.
any idea why we would want to leave them there?
Unless the Baseball Association wants to sell somebody an ad to hang on them. And that's quite a bit of their revenue is selling ads on the fences up there, so. But we never have on the old scoreboard, the one we gave to Clearfield, those pipes are still up there, and we've never sold anybody an ad for that, so. Talk to the Baseball Association, if they want them, I'd say let them utilize them, otherwise eliminate them, I suppose.
Who's the gentleman that wants the board again?
It's the city of Getty's, specifically Tyler.
So do they want it
Oberbrockling.
for parts and pieces, or do they want to actually put the board up?
I'm not sure.
That would be a good,
They
The
know
part
it
that's out of
doesn't
it is-
work, don't they?
Yes, he knows the visitors line does not
Okay.
The
line
visitor's
up,
line does not work,
Yeah.
and you can't fix it.
and he's okay with that. So they have similar board there, so I don't know if this is piecemeal between the two to keep theirs functional longer. I don't have
Yep.
Tyler's
And
thought
what do we
process
care?
there. Right.
how we take it down,
Right.
basically is it, so,
He mentioned one piece if possible.
okay.
That would be ideal.
I don't remember, you say one piece, I don't know if it'll come off in one piece. I thought it came in two 30-foot long pieces, and you mounted the top one, and then we put the bottom one underneath it, or maybe we went the other way. But we put it up with a tractor.
Yeah, I wasn't part of that. I don't,
Yeah, and then we just U-bolted it, and after we got it hung up there, then we pushed it up and down to level it. And I don't think we still got it level, but it's close enough. But I'm just sure that it's held together with the friction of the U-bolts. And I don't think the top is actually connected to the bottom half. But I could really, we put that up in '01 or something like that. That's too long ago for me to remember.
So that's something that we'll, just so everybody's aware of it, and if they see it coming down, it's because it fits into Marty's schedule, and we've got the adequate help to get it down. And equipment in this department, both departments, actually, Marty and I have kind of started a few discussions on that. We're short on mowers. Right now, we surplused 2 John Deeres a year ago, and we did not buy a mower back this year. This year we have a higher number of kids probably than normal. I think we have 9, 8 that are working with the Parks Department, and then one that's been helping out doing some other things, but we're short on mowers. So we've been discussing mowers, and we've been discussing adding maybe another Ventrek, or getting away from the John Deeres and the Grasshoppers and getting something bigger. Marty's made a couple of good valid arguments to that is, if we get much bigger than the mowers that we have, can you put the kids on them? And I know there's some stuff that you guys found out, and maybe we want to bring that up now on labor laws with kids. Does any of that affect the mowing?
Well, in one place it does, and that is as far as moving from one location to another. If you're talking, and Chandra, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, 15-year-olds can
16.
mow.
No, 16.
I'm sorry, 16-year-olds can mow, but they cannot drive a mower on a public highway going to another, or public roadway going to another location. You know, the joke at the place was, when we got a lot of weeds in our sidewalks. Well, the reality is that if for any reason the federal government decides to start checking into this particular labor law situation, that would be the one thing that we would need to adjust.
So we need to
18,
So you mean
transport
under
them in a truck and
18?
pickup in a trailer?
only if they're under 18. So your 18-year-olds can drive on the right-of-ways.
Right.
16, 17-year-olds cannot.
Cannot.
But they can mow.
They can mow, they just can't move it out there as long as you're on a public road.
Same as they can't drive a
We got a
vehicle
lot of
on our
18s.
public roads either.
Correct.
We have a lot of 16-year-olds.
Yeah, we don't have 16-year-olds out driving city vehicles either.
Really?
I
Correct.
don't.
So,
So do we have 16-year-olds on our payroll?
Yes.
oh yeah, half of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Okay, but they can't drive a vehicle?
No.
Not supposed to be.
They are not. We are live streaming. They are not.
That sounds like.
You're
a-
innocent until proven guilty.
Pardon me?
You're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
We'll talk about the legalities some other time.
I understand that thinking a lot.
So that does pose some, I mean, so we either have to house the mowers at each park, you know, a certain amount of mowers at each park, or, you know, we have to get them over to each park, drop them off. But I mean, that's gonna pose some challenges for Marty, definitely, having to transport mowers around, or, you know, because we can't, like, I think right now we have 4 18-year-olds,
I think 4.
4, and the rest are 16, or the rest are under 18.
Yeah.
And that makes how many? I mean, like, you have
That's about
five of them?
That's 5 that are under the age.
5 are underage? Yep.
So, but, yeah, we're looking at some equipment, we're looking at setting equipment up different a little bit, as we go forward. we know that the grasshopper mowers do a great job on flat surfaces, but they're not such a good mower on slopes, and they're a challenge in the cemetery. We haven't found another bagging machine since the John Deere quit making the rear bagging machines. That was the replacement, was the grasshoppers, because they have a rear bagger, and we try and bag the cemetery pretty much every time we mow it. And the grasshoppers have a wonderful bagging mechanism, I guess. It holds a lot of grass, and it's just a quick dump, just a release of the handle. You don't have to get off the machine and actually dump out the baggers, so that's a big plus to those machines. But the downside of those machines is the only place that they're really good for us is on flat surfaces. So once you get them in the parks you basically can't use them on the road ditches at all. They just make ruts, and because they've got that deck out in the front. And if you get on any kind of an on-level surface, they dig in, the front bogey wheels dig in, and they make ruts, and they're just not made for that. They're made for mowing flat surfaces.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, and we have quite a few grasshoppers. I think we have 6 of those. We're down to 3 John Deeres, and 1 stays out at the dump pretty much permanently. That's probably the least desirable machine that we have, I guess, as far as it's got the most hours on it. We bring that one out to the dump, and they use that out there. And then the water and sewer department grab that machine when they go out and mow around the wells and out at the lift station and all them other places. So, yeah, we're down a little bit on machines, but we'd like to replace it with some bigger equipment that can do the job faster and less manpower. But then we run into the issue of who can we have on it. Marty doesn't feel comfortable putting a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old on that Ventrek and sending them out to mow road ditches. And
Yeah, because
it's a
you
different
gotta pay
machine.
attention.
It's a different machine. And I guess the areas that we use it in, like we use it up at Leahy Bowl to mow that big slope behind Leahy Bowl. We use it to mow the slope in the parking lot just below Leahy Bowl because it's got the all-terrain tires on it, and that's what it's
Tools.
made for. I mean, it's made for mowing slopes and difficult areas. And I agree 100% with Marty. You need an adult running that machine. I mean, it can get a little tricky, and if you're on a steep slope, and the machine slips or slides a little bit, you don't want a kid on that where they bail off or something, or there's a potential for them to get hurt. You don't want that. So, yeah, we're trying to think of how we can be most efficient and replace equipment with the most best bang for our buck, I guess. And so we're looking at different options, but it's difficult sometimes. And we're busy. I mean, I say this all the time. For 6 months out of the year, Marty's got the toughest job of any of the supervisors in the city. And then for 6 months out of the year, they slow way down. But those 6 months where they're going, they got a lot going on. They got parks to mow, they got ball fields to get ready, they got funerals, they got the cemetery to be prepared. We got a major holiday in there for the cemetery. There's a lot of times where we get tournaments, and then Leahy Bowl becomes a major priority. Now softball's starting to pick up, and I think softball's going to be a big deal. I think this girls softball thing, I think, is just going to get bigger and bigger. So that's going to become, Little League baseball's always been a big deal, and I know that's growing again in winter, and there's multiple teams now.
Yep.
So these guys are busy all the time. With that, I guess we've got some stuff that I want to discuss that maybe, unless you councilmen have any questions. And
Before we go ahead and do anything else, I want to ask if they have questions, but a resident has purchased the Mitchell Marlins half skating rink to Noble and would like to donate the rink to the city of Winter or have us buy it because they bought it that cheap. This rink sits on a tarp, and the suggested place would be at the city park on the tennis courts on the concrete. They would like us to install, maintain it for the public in the winter time. And there has been in the past, different people have said, how about ice skating in winter South Dakota? Well, this has the sidewalls and everything that goes with it. Would need help getting it picked up from Mitchell. And it would all fit on a flatbed trailer. But this is something that the Parks Department would have to be willing to commit to, and that's why I wanted to start with you two, if that comes through. The half rink would sit comfortably on the 2 tennis courts that are
At the city park.
at the city park, because there's no poles in there anymore. It's
Half a
ma-
rink, you say?
It's not
Half
a,
size?
yes, it's a half-size,
What's the
Councilman.
dimensions for sure?
I don't have those, Marty.
Bigger than
but-
the basketball court, smaller than the football field.
Yeah. Just to double check, make sure it fits where we want to put it.
The tennis courts are in McDonald's. There's a
There's a
basketball.
There's a
Basketball
basketball court at the park.
Oh, you guys, that was a tennis court at the city park at one
It was a
time,
pool
too.
too, so.
I know, but it was a tennis
Okay.
court.
So
Yeah,
was
that's,
a
that's
zoo
just
there,
why I was
too.
double checking.
you gotta realize the basketball court at the city park is the long, narrow stretch. That other concrete piece was 2 tennis courts. That's not basketball court. Take a walk, take a look at it. But anyhow, I said I would ask, since winning the bid, he's asked for assistance to pick it up, and would like us to purchase this from him. Is my understanding, he won a very low bid. Brand new, a half rink is about $8,000, and this thing come in at pennies on the dollar.
He wants to donate it, or this person wants to donate it, you say? Or sell it to us?
Sell us, I
Or he
think,
doesn't want to donate it?
I think he would like to sell it to us and have us maintain it going forward as part of our parks and recreation in the winter.
Okay. So would you put coils under it to freeze the water, or would you just let it be natural froze?
It's natural froze,
Okay.
Councilman.
So then you would probably erect it in December and take it down in April or March? That's a question.
Yeah, I don't know the particulars. I'm not a hockey guy or ice skating
And-
guy.
And so the next thing I would suggest is let's give some real consideration not to taking up the parking lot with it, but maybe locate it on one of the softball fields on the agri-line.
Wants the hard concrete surface is what he had indicated when he bought that.
Okay?
That's what they did. Mitchell, they now have 2 indoor facilities. This individual grew up in Mitchell. They were outdoor. They were on concrete slabs. And the tarp that goes down, it's my understanding from explanation, you want that hard bottom with the tarp over it, possibly to keep it layered. You're not going to have a gazzoni in winter South Dakota.
Not gonna have what?
A gazzoni? That's the machine.
Zamboni.
Oh,
Zamboni. Gazzoni by Zamboni.
Zamboni is what they're called.
Shazam.
With a Z, yeah.
Yeah, Zamboni.
Then they say shields on them, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like the one in Sioux Falls, they have outdoors. I think it's just on the grass at Sherman Park,
Okay.
that outdoor ice hockey at Sherman Park. I'm not sure that it's not concrete underneath it, but it's not there in the summertime.
Understand.
And so, my only thought was, you're gonna put it on the basketball court though, not the parking lot?
Correct.
Okay, yep.
I wonder about lighting. The only lighting we have is a little bit of lighting in the parking lot. at the softball fields where the basketball court, you have the parking lot, and you can turn on the lights. They stay on until 10
They're
o'clock.
dusted on.
Yeah. They're pretty bright around that basketball court, because kids use it year-round too, the basketball court. At least when I lived there.
Are they made to be taken down every year?
Yes. He showed me pictures. It's boards. It's like section of wall probably as long as the desk. It's at 4 feet tall, and they just bolt together. It's lumber is what it is, with the inside having that special surface.
Probably has a tarp of some type on the bottom to hold the water.
Possibly. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. But I have a couple of comments to make.
So, just real quick on your question on sizing, the only thing I can find here, just searching quick, a regulation size skating rink is 200 feet by 100 feet. Regulation size hockey rink is 200 feet by 85. That's regulation. This is half size. So I'm guessing it's about 100 by 50 feet or 100 by 40. Not very big.
100's gonna be close there.
They may call it half-size without reducing the width and only going half of the length, too. Depending on how they use the terminology.
I think it's worth pursuing. I don't know
Yeah.
that we want to make a decision today, but let's pursue where can we put it? Find out exactly how big it is that you guys know, and stay in touch with this guy if he wants to donate it to us.
And the
We'll take
other
care of
thing, I would suggest that you guys just basically look into the basics of the science of how do we operate this thing? How does it operate? Because that is going to help you understand where to put it.
So Chamberlain has one up by their swimming pool that they do every winter, just FYI. Except they use bales with tarps and cattle panels.
Yeah.
So theirs isn't as fancy as this one. And Spearfish has one out in their park that they do too. Neither of them are monitored as part of the park system, but just FYI, those are a couple cities that do this.
But we're so much warmer here, we'll have trouble maintaining ice. Like, how many of you guys would have gone ice skating on our bass pond this year?
This year?
This year,
This year I would have.
would you?
In December and January and February when it was so
okay.
cold,
We were
I was
19 below
good.
zero one day this winter.
Okay.
This last
The
winter.
winter before that, not a chance. I'm
Yeah.
not going near that ice. But I understand your point. We are,
Because I've wondered for a long time, how come we don't promote ice skating at our bass pond in the wintertime? Never have.
You're not supposed to swim in it either, so you probably shouldn't be ice skating on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going out there with equipment to clear
I
it.
wouldn't want to take equipment on that ice to clear it off.
I like that. What's that, Chief?
I wouldn't want to take equipment on that ice to clear it off.
Right.
Yep.
So I guess my couple comments are is what, number one, see if we have an area to put it, which I'm sure we do. Number two is I think it's a good idea. I think we should look into it. But we should probably have a look at it before we agree to do this, because we don't want to get it here and then have to spend $4,000 or $5,000 to make it work, because once we commit to it, the public's going to want it, and then we're kind of committed to it. Number three, I guess I'm on number three now. Where are we going to store it?
Thank you.
That's my biggest deal, is we're
What's it
flat
take?
out of
It's
storage.
stored outdoors right now.
Oh, it is?
It's openly stored outdoors. That's, I can pull up the pictures after the meeting, and I will get you the contact information of this gentleman. You guys can begin this conversation, having your conversations about storage, how much space does it take, what size is the rink, where can it fit? Another thought I had while you were just talking, Troy, and I don't know if this would work, but in the island between Highway 18 and 44, that grass, I don't know if that would be level enough, But what an opportunity, everybody coming through town, you pull into the parking lot there and you can walk out and skate and everybody's skating between,
At the junction, you mean?
yeah, in our,
I don't know where you'd park.
right, that would
There's
be the
no
challenge.
access off the highway other than,
Well, nobody's using a car wash that time of year.
yeah, we'd have to make arrangements. That's a
Right.
private entrance.
Yeah,
Yep.
but,
I think your ball field.
And I
would
think
be-
that'd be a problem, having kids right there playing right next to the highway. There'd be a 4-foot wall,
Yeah.
I realize that,
well, you could set it back,
yeah.
just kicking out ideas.
Yep, I agree.
Is there any, like, does it become, it obviously becomes, it's a city park and it becomes a fixture of the city, so does it become a swimming pool where it has to be monitored and we have hours that it's open?
No,
Or it's
as
just,
Chandler was saying, there are several cities that do these where it's not monitored, it's not actively patrolled or whatever. You don't have to, I'm sure our insurance company will have some specific, either suggestions or maybe even requirements with regard to what information is posted there, things like that.
Especially where we're not providing the equipment. If they want to go, it's their equipment that they're bringing, whether it's snow boots or ice skates or whatever. But yeah, that's really where it comes down to. Just a lot of signs posted that we are not liable for any accidents.
Information,
Enter
yeah.
upon your own.
we're gonna have another concession stand down there serving hot chocolate. Get a bowl of chili and a glass of hot chocolate. Well, we got
truck.
skate.
We could have a food truck there.
Good.
Keep that.
And we're hitting everything now.
Heat the
I
bathroom.
would say, like, my only cautionary to it is,
Yeah, that's a
as
good
with
point.
everything new, like the City of Winter, it's gonna come with vandalism. And
Yeah.
On an ice rink, any sort of vandalism can be very hazardous to anybody on the ice. I mean,
Yeah,
we
you're
experienced it
right.
with the community center
Yeah,
No different than what we have here.
and
Right.
with
We just-
the,
Have to open and
and the
close it
city
as
park
it
building.
Yeah,
freezes
Marty
and
brought up
thaws.
a good point. Do we put it someplace where we provide a facility like a bathroom? So all of our bathrooms are currently, we shut the water off in the fall. So we'd have to heat the restrooms to be able to keep all of our concession stands and our bathroom facilities in the parks are all, and there's no heaters in them. So we shut the water off and blow out the lines in the fall. So,
Either that or we maybe should consider purchasing a porta potty that the city would then own, so that even at the baseball field when they want to play in March, I know you don't like to open the bathrooms then, but they'd like to play in March. If the city owned a porta potty, we'd just have to maintain it.
I think those would freeze.
Pardon me?
I think those would freeze themselves too.
Oh, no, you put a chemical in them, they don't freeze. They're all over the place on
yeah,
construction sites.
RV antifreeze.
Huh?
You put RV antifreeze in them.
Yeah, there's a chemical you put in it that they won't freeze up. But you don't stay in there very long.
Perfect.
But
That's
that
what we
might be
want.
something that,
The wind
maybe
blows-
that's a
the wind blows-
consideration. If we're gonna do this ice hockey rink, I don't think we wanna open up a bathroom in the wintertime and subject it then to freezing temperatures.
yeah. The Mitchell Marlins had a shed that was being bid on also. It was 40 by 50 where people could come in and sit down. It was at $1 also, and all of them, the bids ended Sunday, June 18th, if you go to their website.
Yeah.
A warming house is
Yeah,
what
they
it.
have those in Sioux Falls too.
And in the last hour, everything exploded. But this individual won the ring. The shed became probably more of a storage shed bid and went quite higher.
But these guys that have done this, with the outdoor ice hockey or ice skating rink, now all of a sudden you see giant-sized steel buildings, big events on weekends when they have their invitational tournaments or whatever it might be. I mean, people absolutely flock to those towns that have ice hockey. So. it's
Yeah,
some-
we don't want hockey in winter.
You're not gonna get it until you get an ice skating
It's the
rink.
same season as wrestling. You do not want hockey in winter.
That'd be a mess.
But not everybody that's a wrestler wants to play hockey.
We don't want hockey in winter.
He doesn't mind you saying ice skating,
Yeah,
don't say hockey.
well, that's gonna lead to hockey, I'll tell you. Yep. I got a grandkid that's in hockey. Yep, it's amazing. Who would have thought I'd like hockey? I love it.
Yeah, we'll put the word out before that and let parents know how expensive hockey is. All the gear you gotta buy and,
It is expensive, yep. Not as expensive as softball though.
oh boy, it's gotta be close.
Softball bats cost $400 to $500.
What do you think a good pair of skates cost for hockey?
Yeah, and a stick is only $125.
And then you got all the pads and a helmet.
Don't forget a helmet.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
I think
digress.
having a once in a while ice skating rink is a good idea in winter. And whether or not, I don't think the Bass Pond is the place to do it though, because it's too unpredictable. And if you fall through, you get really wet. If you fall through 6 inches of ice in a hockey rink, or in an ice skating rink, you're not gonna probably drown.
So we'll have to monitor it all winter when it's open and closed, Like 2 years ago, it never froze.
Right.
Last year we,
Be hard to ice skate on that, yep.
I mean, if
the
it's
fact-
thin,
Yeah.
Go ahead,
That
Chase.
and the fact you're gonna have to clear the snow off of it as well.
Yeah, it's worth looking. I mean, we'll start at ground zero and we'll get a hold of this guy that,
Yeah, let's find out,
this
yep.
person that has it, and we'll, maybe we can take a look at it. Hopefully he's got some pictures or whatever of it and some more information for us, and we can get some measurements on it and see if there's a good fit for it. We obviously have to have access to water. We can probably use the water truck in the winter to keep ice on it, but I mean, to originally flood it, we're probably gonna wanna have it someplace where we're gonna be close to a fire hydrant or someplace where we can, maintain it during the winter.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
I
to
agree.
look into.
There's gonna be times in the winter where we live where it's gonna melt, it's gonna thaw
Yep.
and refreeze and thaw and refreeze, but I'm guessing January, February, it'll probably be all right.
Okay. And we'll get you that contact information, let you guys have the discussions and start exploring this. Questions, council, on anything? All right, with that, we'll break from the stream. We want to thank everybody for being here.